Hi Divas! Welcome to Wanda's Workbasket, and this is Tea and Talk Tuesday. I'm a little behind on my advent calendar type thing. It is it is the 14th, I believe, Monday the 14th, and it'll be Tuesday before you see this, but I am still on 10. I have to catch up some. So, I thought, while I have a Tea and Talk Tuesday and some time before my husband comes home, let's do it. Let's do it to it. Yeah, no, did I finish that symbol or not? Oh, no, I didn't even start that symbol yet. Okay, again, I am doing Pretty Neat Creative. 40 by 50. It is like a cottage house, and it has some really glowy windows, so I put some shimmers, AB yellow drills and AB black drills in it to make the garden jump a bit, and the light in the windows jump a bit. So here's where we are. We're on number 7. Which is a symbol in there. I am doing this, I don't have the light pad underneath right now, because the light pad is in use to finish up a Dreamer Design canvas in the other room that is on an easel. And when I finish that, I'll be able to put this on the easel again. Okay. That's the one I had started in May. The Dreamer Design I had started in May. This is the June 2021, challenge from 4 Kids at 147. Rebecca's challenge. So anyway, over the weekend, on Friday, I got to send out to 4 of my favorite YouTubers in the diamond painting world. I sent them each 2 of my cover minders that I put together. They are available on my Etsy shop. They are crocheted flowers. They are steampunk years and hearts, and there's going to be a whole bunch more. I have more. I have some seashells and other kinds of things I want to show you. Maybe you can see this. This is one of the steampunk hearts. I have to glue the magnet on the back of this yet. But there are plenty. Lots and different styles to choose from. So if you go up on Etsy to Wanda's Workbasket, you will see cover minders. Hi again. My mom just called, so I had to take the call. She and her boyfriend called from a place that was very familiar to me. One of her boyfriend's nieces invited them over to their place, and it's fairly close by. So they went, and my mom said, "I know this place." Here it was my in-laws' place. It was the place where my husband lived when we were dating, and before his parents moved out about 20 years ago, and they are the same owners from my in-laws from back then. So we had some reminiscing time. They told me about renovations they did and other things, and they're going to take pictures of the place so I can take them down to my father-in-law. We are going down to Arizona in July, most of July. I hope I can still make videos and upload them from there. We're going to be out there for about 2.5 weeks. We need to have a funeral out there for my mother-in-law and help my father-in-law get ready to move into a new place that he chose out there. A little more easy care and a lot less space than they've got now. So we'll be staying with him for about 2.5 weeks while we help out there. And I'm looking forward to that. Haven't seen him in a number of years. And, you know, it's great just to think about our memories in the house. And, you know, when I met my boyfriend for the first time back in high school, that's where he lived. And his brothers lived. And the brother that passed away in November, and his mother passed away in February. All just recently. And, well, it's been a challenge for the family, and of course it would be, right? None of it from the ugly virus. None of it from that reason, but from other reasons that I won't go into. Anyway, I am going to read My Friend Fear, as I promise. So, let's see. This is the talk part of TM Talk Tuesday. I think we left off last time on page 31. We left off that we're born free, and where do we go from here? Okay. This is page 32. Like all other emotions, fear is born in the mind. It's rooted in our brains, the same magical instrument that fills us with wonder, awe, and incomprehensible joy. What prompts fear to take birth in us changes constantly. Its birth is dependent on our circumstances and abilities to lasso our emotions, but one thing is certain: fear did not arrive here in our minds on its own. Our culture tells us to be afraid. Afraid of the powerful, afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of money because it corrupts, afraid of poverty because it stifles. Our culture tells us to be afraid of what we are, human, and who we innately are, our honest, most beautiful selves. We are continually told that changing ourselves is the only way we'll ever be accepted, loved, cherished, or seen. Honest to Pete, I agree with that. It's our culture that tells us to fear and teaches us to fear wrinkles. It fears our age. We fear death. We fear going hungry and homeless, although I would imagine that would be a very valid fear. Things like that, of being attacked, of being robbed, of lots of things, of not getting our fair share sometimes. And that is so sad. So, what fears do you have that come out of, that come out of our society that you're taught to fear? Are you fear getting older? I have to admit that I didn't used to, but I do now. Fighting the aging bug, wondering how I look in the mirror, if I look too old to be romantic with my husband. He would say, no, it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. If something would happen to my husband, what would happen to me in my old age? Would I be provided for, taken care of? Would the house stay over my head? Would my kids take care of me? Would, all those things? Would I have some productive work to do that means something to me? Would I have gotten done in my life things that I might regret not doing? There are some things that I haven't done yet that I will regret not doing if I don't get to them. namely writing my book. I might have talked about it once on here already. And writers are a finicky lot, I gotta tell you. We really do want to write. We want to get it down. We want the feeling of having, scads of words and sentences put together to make sense out of something. We want our thoughts on paper. And yet we procrastinate like crazy. For some reason, we go out of our way to avoid writing. And it's ridiculous. My best friend said that she knows that when it's time, it'll just come pouring out of me. The right time, the right place. And I do believe that. Right now, I'd said I'm in the midst of discernment as to how my career is working itself out. And I think this weekend I've gotten the idea solidified in my mind. I'm excited about it now when I wasn't before. Well, I was excited about that idea, but I didn't know if it was the right one and how I would go about it. And I'm just going to leave the house, the whens and their wherefores, to Spirit and let Spirit take over. But I'm hearing things that have clued me into other parts of the puzzle being ready. Ready to accept that. And I had to know that that was a possibility, that what I was thinking was actually possible. So, now that I know it is, and I'm getting in contact with the powers that be, now I have to get it worked up in writing and make my list of milestones that I'd like to see happen and who I'd like to contact for those milestones. Anyway, this is about fear, right? I went overboard here. I think, and sorry for the ums, I think that part of the fear in writers is a fear of rejection. We all want to be successful. We all want our work to be worthwhile, meaningful to someone in what they are going through. Just useful out beyond ourselves. But yet we have this inner critic who, when we're in the creative stages, likes to be judge and jury in our mind, croaking out. I call mine my evil toad. Croaking out all kinds of things. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, you won't be accepted. Oh, this, makes you think that you have the ability to do this, and yada, yada, yada. All that kind of crap. And I have to learn to say, critic, I don't need you right now. Come back when I'm editing my piece, not when I'm trying to get it down the first time. My best friend and I talked about that today. So, yeah, that's one fear. Another fear is that we are fear of being successful. What if it's a one-off? What if we can't replicate it or add to it, or, publishers and those are successful. If you're successful in something, people want you to come talk about it. They want you to help them with whatever it is that you were talking about. They want you to, I'm going to do this turnaround, this U-turn symbol next, and that's number 15. Yeah, I have a fear of, okay, if they like this book, do I have another one in me somewhere? Here. This is better ridges. Yeah. And it's also a fear of when you get in the work. When you get into the work, is it going to be too tough? Are you going to promise a publisher, like your boss, something that you then are not able to fulfill? Because you send in a book proposal first. You send in the idea. And if the publisher likes that idea, they'll ask you for maybe a few chapters. Especially if you're a new author, they will ask you for a number of chapters up ahead of time. First, last, and one chapter from the meat of the middle, usually. And if they like that, then they'll contact you and work out a contract with you. So during that process, if you get involved with the publisher and they like your work in the beginning, are you going to be able to, fulfill that contract? That's one thing. And sometimes I hear that 10% of what we worry about, only 10% comes true. Most of the stuff we worry about never comes true. So why am I worried about all that stuff? I don't know. I want to do a good job. So you worry about success. You worry about failure. You worry about acceptance or rejection. I think in everything we do, that we bare our soul and put our passion out there. I think all of us have fears associated with it, but I'm learning that fear is telling me I'm on the right track. It means I'm invested in it. If I'm not a little bit afraid of it, then maybe I don't think it's a worthwhile activity, that it's not worth it. Very possibly. Okay. I think I'm going to do the W next because there's only a few of them at the bottom. The W is number 17. Come on. Come on. There we go. I pick up the strays here. What other fears does society have us worried about? I think our physical appearance is huge. Glamour magazine and Vogue, and even if we don't attempt to be like that, I think there's still some of that. Dieting, and they expect us to be thin. I'm not. They expect us to be beautiful and young. I even went in a couple years ago to talk to one of the higher-ups in a church office who I am accountable to in some form. I went up to talk to him about an idea I had. And during the idea, he asked me, well, are you sure you have enough energy to do that? That'll take a lot of energy. Now, granted, that may have been a valid question, but I am well aware that I am not as young as some of the other people who start new things and hope to gain members. But gee whiz. It was like somebody slapped me. Like, you're too old for this. That's 26, I believe, is the R. The other one's in the corner here, 26. Yeah, I'm still on a lot of confetti here, which is okay. A little bit of time, it gets done. I think that's why I'm a little behind. I'm on day 10 instead of 14. I only need 2. 1, 2. Check the rest. No more R's in this block. Nope. So, what fears has society put in your head? What fears have you bumped up against that come from within, that come from without? And how have you dealt with them? Should I read the next page? I think I shall. Mira Patel, goes on to say on page 33, I live in New York, so I ride the train daily. I always look at the subway ads, which reflect what our culture is preoccupied with at the moment. There are usually advertisements for plastic surgery, featuring women who are so much happier now than they've modified their bodies. I roll my eyes at these signs, but inside I feel uneasy. Am I supposed to look like that? I silently wonder to myself, staring at my reflection in the train windows. I'm not even close. The wall in front of me features a cosmetic company that prides itself on creating the most natural-looking makeup. I'm not convinced it's more natural than the bare face I wear. But the girls in the ad look beautiful. It wouldn't hurt to put on some mascara on before leaving the house, I tell myself, awakening insecurities that were asleep before I'd stepped onto the subway. I don't want plastic surgery, but I do have a fear of not being beautiful. I don't enjoy wearing makeup, but I do have a fear of not fitting in. Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about. 34. I know where these fears come from, but it doesn't mean grappling with them is easy. Modern culture paints fear as a dark, powerful thing that has the ability to control us. But fear isn't the true culprit here. It isn't fear that tells us to change who we are. It's our culture. The signs, the voices, the messages we are surrounded by. And the different leaves here, she has fear of loss, fear of not being liked, fear of being unloved, fear of being fearful. Fear of failure, fear of being rejected, fear of loneliness. See, I talked about all of them just in the other one. So let's finish our page 35 here. As we grow older, these fears grow with us, morphing and dividing themselves into hundreds of other fears until it's impossible to locate where it all began. Rationally, I know that being beautiful isn't reserved for a singular body type, but it's difficult to remember when the world repeatedly tells me otherwise. If I take a moment to understand it, I can see how my fear of being unattractive to others has created several other fears. The fear of unacceptance, the fear of never being loved, the fear of rejection. These are all tied up together like a bouquet of fears, and when I feel unattractive, they all bloom inside me. Yeah. I think I'm going to end here in the fear book. And I know it's at an awkward place because, well, we don't like to be left with all the thoughts of fear running around in our heads. Love the tea. And that's 19. X is 19, and that's back here. Here, Tis. There's not many in a row, so I'll use the small thing. Yeah, fear of being lonely. No, I was talking to a different friend this past week and thinking, how many of us have picked our mate because we're afraid of being lonely? You know, I love my husband very much and have loved him, but there has always been part of it that choosing him was part of wondering if I was ever good enough to be loved by anybody else. I was so surprised that this man loved me. It was high school, and you're different in high school than you are when you're an adult. And as we grew, we've just been blessed that we've grown apart in some ways, but in other ways we've grown close. And I just enjoy the peace that happens when we're together. It's just, it's comfortable. But, you know, when you're teenagers, when you're first dating, you choose your boyfriend or girlfriend depending on, you know, who likes you. And hopefully it grows maturer. As you grow mature, you see that lots of people like you. It's not just one or two people that are going to come in your life that like you the way you are. Just the way you are. And I did not have the confidence back then to realize that that would be true. You know, your parents say it is. Your parents say, you know, oh, you'll have plenty of boyfriends, girlfriends. You'll have plenty of people coming after you. And, of course, you say, oh, well, they have to say that. They're my parents. And I really do feel that they meant that. I didn't see myself as, you know, pretty back then. I look back at pictures now and wish I was still there. Wish I was still that young and beautiful and thin. I did not think I was thin then at all. And why do I want to be thin? I want to be thin because society tells me I want to be thin. I was in Ghana, West Africa, for a couple weeks, and you learn that there, if you are not thin, you are considered wealthy because only the wealthy have enough to eat to get you to that stature. It's 22. It's a slash mark. So they think a voluptuous woman is the way to go because, wow, you know, they're rich, they have a lot to eat. I guess that makes sense. In a country that is developing, is becoming modern, they have very modern, the city of Accra is fairly modern, and a nice airport there and everything. That's their capital city. It's been a while since I've been there, so I can't vouch for it today. But, gosh, yeah. I guess my brain derailed again, my train of thought derailed again. Oops, that's an X, but now it's a slash mark. Covered it up. It's not an X any longer. Ooh, there's a B in there I thought I had already gotten. What are you doing hanging in there? There's one down there I would have missed. Thank you. I guess I want to do the Z's because they pop out to me next. The Z's and the K's. One of the ways I decide which I'm doing next is what symbol jumps out the most. And I forget who I learned that from online. But I like that. And it really is. I mean, once you get a couple that really pop the most, once you get them in, another shade will pop. Okay, Z is 25, so that's here as well. Bright pink. Pink, pink, pink. Bright pink. It would have been nice if I had some sparklers in these too, but you know, I've learned that if you put everything as sparklers, then nothing special. It's all sparkly, no special. So I like some of the dull background, especially like a dark black in the background, because that really makes the sparkly ones pop. But right now I have only the black and the yellow in sparklers. I'm getting a full set from someone on Etsy. When I get them, I will put them up on I'll put them up online. Yeah, oop, up, 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 up. 1Z. That's missing. Thank you very much. Whoever shouted that out, thank you very much. Okay, and that's a 24, so that would be right at the end here. I see these dark K's in the middle here. Oop. What are you doing? An X that didn't sit right. There you go. So, I think just be alert this week or until Friday anyway. The next time you hear until we continue reading our book, just be alert to your fears and be alert to what's driving those fears. What is it really a fear of? When you feel the fear, stop and take stock. Write in your journal or do an art journal page or something that reflects how you're feeling and where it comes from. Does it come from society? Did it come from within yourself? Did it come from something somebody said to you, maybe a parent or a grandparent? And somebody is mowing right outside my window, so I'm going to have to go for now. Oops, I do need one more so that you can hear me. I will be back. I will be back on Thursday with the Crafty Thursday. Okay? See you soon, divas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love ya. Bye.